So coming into that comfortable cross-leg position on your mat, and so full-bodied flow. I know that thoughts aren't actually localized in our head, but to me it feels like it, this swirl of thoughts that continue to happen in the head. So just consciously bringing our awareness down by taking half circles around with the head. So drop the ear to the shoulder, chin to the chest, ear to the other shoulder, and then coming back up and continuing on like this. So you don't want to take the head back past the shoulders. It's a bit strong for the neck muscles, but just starting to bring your awareness into the movement. So dropping out of thinking mind and into feeling body. So from the head and neck to the shoulders now, take the shoulder to the opposite knee and then over to the other side and back up. So just bringing your awareness into the shoulders and dropping down. You could feel free to keep the movement in the head and neck as well. So this, even though we're moving, it's like the snow dome that's been shaken and then set down, and all of those larger flakes start to sink down. So you can keep the head and shoulders level, but just start to circle the rib cage around. And this is a bit of a belly dance isolation. You may need to use your tongue to do it properly, to do it justice. But just your rib cage, moving it in those same circular patterns. So to one side, forward and back. And then let's bring our awareness down. So that feeling of settling down through from out of the head and dropping down into the body. So now focusing on the hips and the movement that's happening in the hips, the same circular movement, the little pause, and then switching back in the other direction. Again, just this movement down out of the head, full embodiment, full embodiment. And now into the legs. So you can bring the torso up, bring the hands around behind you and releasing the legs out, and have the feet as wide as the mat and just rocking side to side with the legs, maybe twisting and looking over the other side, over the other shoulder. Starting to awaken that settling and dropping down. So now see if you can do this without the hands behind you. So have the hands in front. This will engage a little bit of core, and you might find yourself wiggling forward, and that's okay. So drop to one side and pivot around to look behind you, and then switching to the other side and pivoting. I'm just going to turn back this way so you can see. So a couple more times like that. And it's a little bit of coordination as well. So we'll drop the knees to one side and then take the hands around behind you and do like an easy push-up. And then coming back up and pivoting over to the other side. And then again, this little sneaky push-up. And just twice more like that. And it's your practice, so feel free to rearrange it as you need to, especially if you're working with any healings that are going on in your body. Focusing on the healing, not the injury, is a good idea. All right, so let's pause for a moment and coming down and just move the elbows out and rest the forehead onto the hands, and then just pausing here and allowing like the in the same way that a plug has been pulled and the bath water simply drains away, feel like there's a plug that's been pulled at the crown of the head, and just this draining down of your awareness, but also of any tension and tightness, and letting it be released through the feet. And then making your way up and over to the other side if you can without the hands. And over to the other side. And again, elbows out, resting the forehead down, and just pausing here for a moment. Maybe with a softness in the belly. Again and again. So it takes this real patience and persistence to bring the awareness out of the head and down into the body, and yoga does it so beautifully. Okay, so let's come on up, and then from here you can swing the legs around, either crossing them over, and we'll meet up in downward facing dog. So just stretch the arms forward for a moment, tucking the toes and arriving in your downward facing dog. And this is where maybe there's a little bit of a hamstring stretch that you can let all your attention be drawn to. So like a moth to a flame, let all your awareness move into the sensation. This drawing into your body, into the muscle fibers, the tissues, the organs, the cells, just drawing full embodiment. Okay, so then let's stretch the right leg smoothly to the sky and take a tiger curl, exhaling knee into the chest. Feel free to have the left knee on the floor if you wanted to. Inhaling, stretching the leg back up into the air, and exhale through that tiger curl, so your right foot steps forward in between the hands. Dropping the back knee down and just connecting in with your breath, inhaling and sweeping the arms up. And exhale, taking the right hand, this is your left hand down onto the floor and into a twist. And then exhale, and then into a curling into a little ball as part of that, and then inhale and expand and open, stepping into this spanda, this pulse, exhaling, coiling in, and inhaling to open out. And one last time. Feel the touch of the body on the thigh, the arm wraps around the air as it brushes over the skin. Then pausing here, stay on your left knee and pivot into a side plank, easy side plank position. So feel free to stay here, or if you'd like to, wrapping around to catch hold of the foot and even looking upwards. So it will depend on you. If you need to keep the foot on the floor, that's fine, but just feel into where does your awareness want to be drawn to, and allow it to move into that. Maybe it's the stretch, maybe it's an awareness of your balance. And then releasing and touching the hand down. You can come into a full plank or a half plank position, and then pressing back into downward facing dog. Inhale forward into plank. You can do an easy plank, and exhale back to downward facing dog. Stay nice and long in your down dog. Inhaling to travel forward, and then exhale and lower yourself down onto the belly. Reach the hands back alongside the hips and rise up. So Shalabhasana. Imagine basketballs underneath your hands and press down so that you feel your upper back light up. And in that way, again, just an invitation to highlight areas of the body and to have that awareness and that embodiment. Okay, then release and touch down. Rise up through your full or half push-up and back into downward facing dog. Again, downward dog, perhaps with a little heel press, or maybe you can be in stillness. And just allowing your attention to, it'll dance from area to area, from the touch of the hands, the sweet caress of the breath, just taking it all in, this almost sensory overload that a yoga pose can be when you truly awaken to everything that's going on. And then let's move to the other side. So left leg can float to the sky. And exhaling, knee into the chest and rounding that tiger curl. Inhale to stretch up and back. And then stepping the foot through to the space between the hands. Drop the back knee down. Crescent pose, inhaling smoothly up. And then keeping your left hand lifted, exhale the right hand down, and as part of that, spinning around and wrapping the arm underneath, and then pulsing and opening 3 times, inhaling the same way that a flower would. And even imagine those beautiful fields of sunflowers and how they all dial and turn to the sun. Feel like you're doing that as you open out. And one last time, going into the opening, maybe even turning it into a little bit of a back bend, if that's all right for your back. And then from here, plant your right hand down and coming onto the right knee and into this side plank position, which you could happily stay in. Pardon my back, but if you wanted to, you could also catch hold of the foot and kicking the foot back, which is going to change the pose a little. A lot, actually. So finding an awareness, maybe it's grounding down through the hand to help to stabilize. Maybe it's the stretch of the quad. Wherever you're being called to tenderly place your attention. And then releasing and planting the hand down, moving back through your downward facing dog. So feel free to have the knees down, but we'll do some sneaky yoga push-ups. So inhaling, coming forward, and exhale halfway down. Inhale to lift and exhaling back, and once more like that. If you wanted to, the knees are down, but if you have it in you, a little bit of a sneaky push-up. This time coming all the way down onto the belly and reaching the hands back. Actually, let's go hands out to the side for a moment. And again, thinking of the basketballs under the hands to lift. And then lifting the thighs up off the floor as well. And releasing down. Let's come through Sphinx Pose with the elbows underneath the shoulders and look into the belly, engaging so the hips stay down but lifting through the belly, then sending the chest forward. And feel free to turn that into a cobra if you're up for it. And exhaling to lower down. Rise up through your full or half push-up and press back into downward facing dog. So let's take a twisting dog shape here. Bring the right hand across over to the left ankle. And again, just this opportunity to feel what you feel, to notice what you notice. In yoga, we often breathe into the sensation, and that's fine. Let's switch to the other side. Twisting yourself around, looking for another perspective. So if you would
Yes, you can breathe into the sensation, but equally you can just be aware of the sensation, noticing it without needing to change a thing. From here, let's walk the hands back and lift halfway up, lengthening through the spine. And exhale to fold yourself in. Come on up through a spinal roll, chin into the chest, and arriving in Tadasana, and just pausing in Tadasana for a moment. With an awareness from the four corners of the feet pressing down and the feet being hip-width apart, take that, just as we took the awareness down earlier, draw the awareness up through the midline now. So from the space between the soles of the feet, and up through the pelvic floor, lifting through the pelvic floor, lift through the chest, lift through the crown. And like a circus tent, there's that rising up through the center, but then this draping down the sides of the tent, or the roof of the tent is coming down. And dropping the shoulders down away from the ears. So you've got this rising up through the center and keeping an awareness of that, but this softening and releasing down. Okay, so let's take this into a bit of a standing flow, inhaling and sweeping the arms out and up, and exhale to fold yourself forward and down. Inhaling, lifting halfway up, lengthen through the spine. And with knees bent, walk the hands forward, arrive back into your plank pose. So you've got a nice long stance as you move back into downward facing dog. And as much as you really want to shorten the stance, see if you can stay in that nice, long, generous stance so that it's completely embodied. So downward dog is maybe one of the poses that we check out in a lot, but if we do it differently, then it requires our all full attention. All right, so let's inhale the right leg smoothly to the sky and take that tiger curl again, bending the knee into the chest. Inhale to stretch up and back, and opening the pelvis out to the right side without dumping into the left armpit. Keep the left armpit lifted like there's a helium balloon there. And then squaring the hips around, step the foot forward, turn the back heel in and down, and come on up into your Virabhadrasana 2. So in Vira 2, we've got the heel to arch alignment, and the hips just find that position of naturalness. Take an inhale and come back into a reverse warrior. And exhaling, elbow to knee, Parshvakonasana. So if you wanted to do the dancing warrior arms, as in no hands, inhale, reverse warrior, exhaling, Parshvakonasana. And one last time. So then from here you can bring the right hand down and even go left hand onto the hip if you wanted to, as we launch forward into Ardha Chandrasana. So similar shape to where we were a second ago on our knee. Maybe you can catch hold of the back foot and pivoting the chest open, and if not, that's fine. And child's pose is always there as an option as well. Beautiful. All right, so bend into the standing leg and stepping smoothly back. Bring both hands down to the inside of the foot and then swapping over to your left foot. Actually have the toes pointing out to the corner of the mat and go into this skater or skandasana position, melting the hips down. And then from here, even using the hands for support and coming into a lower position, so you'll feel a stretch through the inner thigh. So full-bodied means we're going to be working all areas of the body.
All right, so coming back up into your Virabhadrasana 2, place the right foot back down and inhale into a reverse warrior. And exhale down into your hands either side of the foot. So we'll step back and into Wild Thing, reaching the leg up and back, bending the knee, heel to the buttock. Transfer the weight forward so you're back in that plank pose position, and then dropping your right foot to the floor. But just check that you're on tippy toes of the right foot and lifting up, and stretch that right arm over. And then from here, with control, lowering yourself down to the floor. I can't see if you're doing it right. I'm sure you're awesome. So we'll come up and down a couple of times, full body lifting, inhaling and lifting, like that helium balloon rising, and then it's running out of helium and descending. And once more, inhale to lift, and exhaling down. Okay, so then this time, as we lift, we're going to flip back over. So inhale to lift, plant the hands stepping back into your plank, which you could do a one-legged plank if you wanted. Inhale to rise up, back bend of choice, and exhale, lowering. Full or half push-up and pressing back to downward facing dog. Feeling better already. Inhale, left leg smoothly reaches to the sky. Take a tiger curl, knee into the chest. Inhale, stretching up and back. Open the pelvis. Off to the left. Just a wardrobe malfunction. So we're still just opening the pelvis out in down dog. And then squaring the hips, stepping forward. Turn the back heel in and down, and you're back into Virabhadrasana 2, facing the other way. Left leg forward. Inhale into a reverse warrior, so deepening the bend in that left knee. Again, that embodiment. So how can you have this universal awareness of the whole of the body? Exhaling, Parshvakonasana. And optional to not use the hands again. So arms come across like this. And so in this universal awareness, it's like the glass that can be filled with water. Your whole body can be filled with your awareness. So standing poses have a great way of drawing us into our body, out of that thinking mind. Transition forward into Ardha Chandrasana if you wanted to. With the option of catching hold of the back foot. And you could challenge yourself here. So something that we do as yogis is maybe take those edges and nudge them, and even fall, and that's okay. So stepping back, and have both hands on the floor to the inside, and then switching. Oh, that's not a good view. So into your skater or skandasana pose. Both sets of toes are facing towards the edge of the mat, and your right knee is bent. And then lowering down a little again, opening through the inner thigh. Let the hips be heavy. Let them sink down. And yes, there's one part of the body that is calling for more attention, and that's totally okay. Allow your awareness. So our awareness is a soothing, healing balm for the body. Often in illness or in injuries, the body is calling for that attention. All right, so let's come back and Back through your reverse warrior. And then hands either side of the foot. So this is, again, the movement back into three-legged dog. And then traveling forward and flipping over into wild thing. And then 3 times up and down here. So you can come down and touch the arm to the knee. I call this grape eating pose, just like, yeah. And then lifting with that lightness of helium. And exhaling down. Inhale to lift. If you really knew me, you'd know that I lose count a lot because I'm just enjoying it so much. I'd never make it as a PT. All right, so flipping over and either a one-legged plank or 2 legs and lowering down. Feel free to pause if you wanted to, or take your back bend, either flow with it or find stillness. And then pressing back, let's all meet back in child's pose for a moment. Finding a child's pose that, again, feels most nourishing to you. Maybe it's hands to the outside, hands forward, or maybe even threading the arms through between the legs. So the body calling for attention. Then when we can give that attention to the body, then it naturally responds. So in the same way that a crying child or crying baby is calling out for its mother's attention, and the moment that the mother gives the attention, then they're happy. So in the same way, the body can call for attention. So give your attention to those areas. Nice. All right. Let's press back into downward facing dog and take a different twisting movement here. So lift up into, you can be your usual length, not a long dog. Lift up onto the balls of the feet. Make sure the feet are hip-width apart, and then drop the heels over to the right side. Bend the knees a lot and press the chest to the thighs. And then inhaling to lift and switching over to the other side. And once more, like that, to each side. And switching. Okay, coming back through center, reach the right leg to the sky, bend the knee, heel to the buttock. So coming into a few of the same postures, but a little differently. So walk the hands back now and find your Ardha Chandrasana position with the pelvis was already open. Reaching the arm up, maybe catching hold, so that would be right hand, right foot. And maybe again challenging yourself, now you've been here a little while, to perhaps hover the bottom hand, maybe shift the gaze. Or maybe this is enough. This is enough of a challenge. But sometimes challenging poses require more attention. So let's release down, move through that downward dog and stepping the foot forward to the hands. Turn the back heel in and down. Come into your reverse warrior and then into Skandasana. So both hands to the inside of the foot and Skandasana at the back of the mat. So do this back and forth a few times, inhaling reverse warrior and exhaling Skandasana. So when we do anything new, it takes more of our attention. Like, remember what it was like learning to drive and how challenging that was and how clunky that was. But our yoga practice, we can become almost, I don't want to say numb, but it can become automated. So we're looking for really experiencing a newness in every moment. Next time you're in Skandasana, stay down here, and we'll bring the hips down and come into this Janu Shasasana shape. So you've got your right leg straight, go right elbow onto the knee and extending the top arm over. So don't be in a hurry to catch the foot, because that can close the posture down. Instead, you want to spin the chest open. Again, remember the field of sunflowers. Be like that with your left ribs opening out. And then from here, releasing the hands. Use the hands for support. Come back through your Skandasana position and back into your reverse warrior. And exhale, release the hands down either side of the foot. Lift the back heel and stretch the right leg up and back and into your three-legged dog again. And from here, with your right leg lifted, bend the knee, heel to the buttock, and flipping over into your wild thing once again. But lowering the hips straight down. So your right knee is bent, and you could take the foot off to the side a little as you then fold forward. So you don't have to catch hold of the foot, but just this movement forward. However, if you wanted to, again, that trying something different, something new, can bring more attention, and again, that embodiment that's required. So if you wanted to, lifting the leg and try for the balance. And for those of you who are CrossFitters, Manu, go ahead and stand up. So pressing down through the right leg and standing up. It's pretty intense on the knees, but if you wanted to, go ahead. Of course, I can't demonstrate it because my microphone's in the wrong position. Okay. All right, so we move back through, back into wild thing. So we've got our left hand on the floor and then lifting up through wild thing, flipping over into downward facing dog. So feel free to take a connecting vinyasa or your plank chaturanga if you wanted to. Otherwise, just that embodiment, feeling the hands, the feet, the hips, the arms, feeling the whole body all at once. And then let's go with the left leg lifting to the sky. Last little standing flow, exhaling knee into the chest. Inhale, stretching up and back, and then walking the hands back. So your hips are already open, and you're ready to place yourself into this, your half moon position, kicking the foot back and spinning the chest open to the sky. Or not, you're in your own beautiful, unique shape is perfectly fine as well. All right, so then from there, plant the hand and walking the hands forward and stepping the foot forward to the space between the hands, coming into your reverse warrior. So I'll go this way. So you've got left leg, reverse warrior, and then hands or no hands, sweeping back into Skandasana with your back knee bent, right knee bent, left leg straight, and then flowing back and forth, inhaling. And again, that invitation for embodiment, never getting automated with the movement, but rather fully present. Every morsel of awareness. So next time you're down, you can stay down and then sinking the hips down. So you'll have your left leg straight, right leg bent, and then coming over into this Janu Shasasana shape, which isn't a good idea if anyone has any sacroiliac issues. You may just need to stay more lifted through the center. Again, that opportunity. Can you receive the light of your awareness? The way that the sunflower receives the light of the sun, takes in that nourishment. The light of your awareness is that same opportunity for nourishment. Great, so let's unravel, and it's not elegant, but planting the foot back down and moving through your Skandasana. Then into reverse warrior. And framing the front foot with the hands. Stretch your left leg up and back, bend the knee, travel forward so it's more of a plank pose as you flip over, and then sinking the hips down. All right, so you've got the choice here to fold forward. Keep an awareness of that left knee, that it's not sagging out to the side. Stay anchored firmly through the left foot into the floor. So you've got the forward folding opportunity, the hamstring stretching lift, but make sure you're not rounded, stay lifted. The balance pose option, so I bring the knee into the midline and then balancing here. Again, microphone's in a less than optimal place, so if you wanted to, then standing up from your pistol squat. Opportunity for CrossFitters to really let their form shine through. All right, so then you can release that right leg down, plant the right hand onto the floor, rise up, inhale, lifting through your wild thing and flipping yourself back over. Melting the knees down onto the floor and sitting back onto the heels, either child's pose or taking a moment pause here in Vajrasana. And just as we took that snow globe earlier and allowed our awareness to descend down, feel how it's more naturally in your body now. This practice has required your attention. And just as a snow globe clears, that there's a clarity in the mind, perhaps a peacefulness, perhaps an ease. And from here, you can then bring the knees to, the hips to one side, feet to the other side, and traveling forward again. So remember this movement that we did earlier. It should feel like a walk in the park now. But you can walk in the park and be completely thinking about something else, or you can walk in the park and truly be there and deeply experience it. So doing that, maybe taking this same move without the hands, and then let's rearrange into this twist. So you might even like to stack the legs on top of each other. You could pillow the hands. Some of you might be able to go cactus arms and turn the head away from the knees. So coming down and resting like that. And allow yourself to become more like a puddle on the earth now. Whereas we've been rising up, we've been lifting in an animated way, just allow yourself to melt and soften the way that a ice cube would melt in the hot sun with the hot earth beneath. And you can feel your awareness evenly through the whole body, and the way that a pancake would spread in a pan, just spreading evenly to all sides. The perfect pancake, the perfect Sunday pancake. All right, so you can come on up. Feel free to use your hands as you transition over to the other side. So again, you may like to stack the legs on top of each other, coming down. You could pillow the hands, or you could go cactus arms with the arms out from the body. So cactus arms is like this, and turning your head, if it's okay for your neck, turn your head away from the knees. And again, there's that whole body awareness, that total appreciation. Breath by breath, that dissolving, that melting. And give it 2 more breaths. From here, you can rise up onto the elbows and thread the bottom elbow through so that you can simply flip yourself over and onto your back. From here, let's curl into a little ball. So you could use your hands on the knees, or place the knees to the inner elbows and rocking a little side to side. If you're able to, lift the head, lift the chest, curl into a tiny little ball. And again, so awareness can be condensed quite easily. So feel into the whole body here. And keep that awareness of the whole body as you extend yourself out and into Shavasana. So if you could do it in the condensed shape, then surely you can do it in this stretched out Shavasana shape. From the tips of the toes to the top of the head. From the top of the head to the fingertips. From the organs to the hair follicles on your head and the whole of the body. Sink into this universal awareness of your physical form, not as some separate entity, but this full embodiment, feeling from the inside out everything that you are all at once. And just as the fragrance of a flower would emanate into the space around the flower, can you allow your awareness to move from this physical body to the space around? If you like, your aura. Just feeling into that space around you. Again, in this universal, all at once, all-encompassing experience. That you are not just this physical form, but the energy around you. And that this energy could fill the room. And this energy could fill your entire house or dwelling. Like the egg yolk that can be you, and then this white can extend out into the entire universe. But they are all one. This wonderful experience of wholeness, of integration. And from this experience of all that you are, return back into this physical form, like a genie in a bottle. Returning back into this physical body of yours, yet still experiencing the entirety of the universe within you. Allow your breath to lengthen. And now it's not so much us and them, but rather this dance of energy, this being breathed by the universe. And you can slowly awaken your body as you feel to, and bring yourself up to a seated position. And as we do at the end of every Being Yoga class, we send our blessings out from this place of oneness, of wholeness. If just one being on the planet is suffering, then we are all suffering. So we send our blessings out. Place both hands into the heart center, and with an Om or not, but with incredible, like a blessing, sending your blessings out. May all beings across all realms be happy, be healthy, be free from suffering. Bringing a morsel of that back into yourself as you place the hands back at the heart. May I be happy, may I be healthy, may I be free from suffering. And holding that same wish for family, for friends. Deep peace to you. Thank you so much for your practice, everybody. Namaste.